Let's get rid of the word diet. Let's get rid of anything that you think that you cannot sustain. When I left the US, I was never the person that's considered like the popular kid to be around all the time.
If somebody was bullying a kid, then I would bully the bully. Okay, welcome guys to What's Next, Season 3, Episode 5 it is already. And again, what is so fun to do is interviewing people we actually don't really know very well. I mean, you're my coach, but do I really know you besides being my coach? Not really. So this is for me a very nice opportunity to get to know you and to learn. That is for me, I think, the most interesting thing, to learn from you what you are all doing and how you're doing it. Like I said in the beginning, I like to have an interview, podcast, or how you want to call this, with people who inspire me. And you are definitely one of them, but we will come to that. I think some podcasts, they always start straight away, go direct in it. But for me, actually, the most important question always is just a simple, how are you?
I'm doing great. I think just being in Bali, living an active lifestyle, doing things I enjoy, meeting amazing friends, and becoming, from training to lifestyle to everything in between, competing together while we travel.
Yes.
I think for me, it's been doing great. Things are great.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because normally in Holland or wherever, especially in Western countries, you see each other, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. It's the easy response. Here it's a bit like, yeah, how are you? Good, because we almost cannot complain. And I think because we are here in Bali, of course.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question, because I think being in Bali, being honest with yourself is one of the major things. And you are completely right. When you ask someone, how are you happy? These simple questions are not so simple anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes asking them 2 or 3 times before you get an honest answer. Because you're so used to the short answer of, oh yeah, I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Yeah, no, but for me it's always really important. The first question always like, how are you? How are you feeling? All good. So, and the good thing is, I think we cannot complain in the place we are in. And just to get to know you, how would you describe yourself, Johnny Tieu? Who is Johnny Tieu?
I think for myself, personally, I think I'm technically a jack of all trades in one stance, but I think I'm just enjoying life as much as I can, but also providing a positive impact. It wasn't that to start. It was some corporate lifestyle, but now I'm in a world where it brings me more joy, not just competing for myself, but also seeing everybody around me elevating and being inspired to push each other. To describe myself, I guess I'm a fitness consultant, an athlete, but also a person of good vibe, trying to bring everybody together in one way or another.
Yeah, that is also, that we talk about that maybe a bit later, but also something that really inspires me. The connection you can bring also for others, not just for yourself, but also for other people who will form a community.
Yep.
And then of course the running club you have, but we come to that part a bit later. You're born in the US, New York, not mistaken?
Yep.
New York.
Yep. Born and raised in New York,
Brooklyn. But Asian.
Yes.
And which roots? Your parents, both parents?
Ethnically, I'm Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
Parents are from Saigon, Ho Chi Minh. Immigrated into the US, and then born and raised full US lifestyle, and then now I'm living in Asia for the past 10 years plus.
10 years plus. How is it to be to grow up as an Asian in the States?
I never thought about it being a disadvantage or anything wrong with it. There was a little bit of racism here and there, but it wasn't anything major. It's just kids bantering and small things. Yeah. You grow up with a thicker skin. Kids make fun of each other all the time. So I don't think I grew up with anything that left the image in me that being Asian was different.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, in marketing world or in billboards and ads, there was definitely a towards push of a more westernized mindset. Mm-hmm. But then as in growing up, I think I started just adapting. Even for yourself, you're living in Holland, right? Like I think being Asian for me wasn't a factor that affected me in any way, whether it was achievements in academics or in athletics. I think one of the things I've grown into more, knowing that I am Asian, there is a certain discrepancy that I want to help elevate the Asian image of what's capable and what's possible, because I didn't believe in any of that. I trained just as hard. I pushed my way through. I trained others that even they were faster than me to get faster from there on out. And I don't think there was any sort of negativity that came out of it. If anything, positive aspect, because that's how I ended up with sports brand in different places. They actually needed Asian faces for diversity. And I was like, hey, I'll take that.
That's good. No, I think also New York, of course, it's a bit, I think we can compare it, we can compare to Amsterdam, where I grew up. But then I was born in Amsterdam, but then grew up in a smaller town outside where it was more white. So you really feel like, okay, you are different. You ever had that feeling like, or you always felt like, okay, no, I'm just American?
Yeah, I don't think I noticed too much of a difference, because the neighborhood I did grow up in was a lot more Asian, so the percentage of Asian were higher. Same with the schools I went to high school in New York, went to NYU, and even in college there was a good amount of Asian community there. So I never felt like I was the odd one out.
Did it somehow, because of your Asian background, feel more home in Asia than in the States, or it's both totally fine?
I think they're both totally fine. I think it's easily adaptable, but I do miss seeing diversity. Living in Hong Kong, it wasn't as diverse. Literally, you'll see, of course, everybody's or Chinese over there. I was missing my Spanish friends. I miss my African American friends. I missed all my friends from all different diversities, and having different jokes and different things. But it started becoming more of a unison living in Asia.
Yeah, and then Bali again is the perfect place to be, where everybody is just himself, and so multicultural, of course. What is the biggest difference between the States and being here in Asia in sports? Do you feel a big difference?
That is a massive difference, I think, within the sports world or just health and wellness world, right?
Yeah.
Growing in the States, I think there were certain knowledges and information on training, on recovery, on nutrition, on mindset that I grew up with, that was instilled in me, that the second I moved into Asia, it was new to everybody, or it was just something that was never spoken about. I think growing up in Asian households, a lot of families don't even talk about sports, they talk about just academics. You know, we want you to be a doctor, a accountant, or in finance or something like that, versus sports was very low tier. Health and wellness wasn't really spoken about that much, but nowadays it's coming up more into the field. So I think the knowledge I came in with helped me a lot in my professional in competition in the world. And then to see how things have changed here in Asia has been wonderful.
Yeah, because you've been here now 10 years. What are some of the biggest changes you have seen?
I think especially after COVID, people have been accepting sports as a major foundation into their day-to-day lifestyle. So actually taking their health into consideration, wanting to be fit, not just aesthetically, but actually for performance, wanting to make a quality of life that's way better than they had before. So I think all those things have been wonderful changes. There still needs to be a lot of growth that still has to be had, but we're all getting there. So when you're asking me like what I've learned coming from the West to going to the East, is the openness of adapting to new things, and not just pigeonholing yourself to like one small discipline within health and wellness.
Because also for me, being also in Asia now for 15 years, it's finally getting there, especially in Indonesia, because the food is so good, but it's also so unhealthy at the same time. But finally people realizing that being healthy is very important. And I think what I read, I think Indonesia was the lowest on average steps a day, and I finally see some growth. I mean, at least in the community I am in, and also even in Jakarta, where it's crazy pollution, but the car-free days, a lot of running. People start to get into running. I mean, we finally got my wife into running, which is amazing. But you as a kid, how were you as a kid?
I think I was the kid running around all the time. Growing up, I didn't have much video games, I didn't have much TV. I was just out in the backyard playing. And when I say a backyard, this is not like grass and trees. This is like the concrete jungle. Literally, you are in your 5x5 basketball court or something. And I just had fun running around with the neighborhood kids. I laugh now. I tell my mom about this. Like, I got in trouble, not because I was doing bad things. I got in trouble because I didn't come home when the lights were turned on. So in New York City, like if the street lights turn on, mom's like, you better be home. I'm like, if you think about it now, it's like you can barely get even kids out to play. And
it was a punishment if to be grounded and you have to stay a day at home.
Like, if I see my neighbors outside playing and I'm home because I got in trouble for coming home late, I'm like, that's an upsetting thing. But I think for me, I was always an active kid running around. I never thought too much about sports. It was just fun things you're playing, make up games, be creative, playing catch, small things like that.
But never played another sport when you were young?
Yeah, so I guess the main sports I played was tennis. I played tennis collegiate. I played tennis intramurally in high school, and I also did bowling. So the two interesting sports that I played. So bowling and tennis were my sports that I grew up for many years. I was always good at running, but I didn't realize it until many years later. Because running as a kid, I think even now, a lot of times running is a punishment.
Yeah, especially in football. Too, right? Football, if the coach is time to run, everybody goes like, nah, give me the ball.
Yeah, any sport, like I remember like volleyball, like you you messed up, go run, like do this, like so the mindset of that kind of like messes people up a little bit. So like in my head, it's like, well, I don't want to go run, it's a punishment, it's not a fun thing to do. And it wasn't until like years later where like you start seeing, there was a fun run in my neighborhood. I think this is when I was in high school by now. And they're like, okay, you know what? I'll give this a shot. One of my friends convinced me, we'll go out running around. And yeah, I think I found that challenge that I really enjoyed. And from that, it brought in the want to be better, the challenge in life and everything like that. But from as a kid, I think I was definitely good at running. I just didn't realize it was. So the skill.
Yeah, it's funny that you say it also about the punishment. But for me, I played football, or in the States you call it soccer. It was always a punishment. And then also when we had holidays, they will give you a schedule. Okay, in your free time you have to go for a run. I was like, no, I'm just gonna play. But then when I became older, you finally start to feel the joy of running and enjoying running. And I was like, oh wow. So even now I'm still trying to convince friends like, no, I don't like running. I said, no, why you don't like running? Because you never ran before. But do the run and tell me how you feel afterwards. So it's really funny that it was always a punishment, but then turned out, and then especially for you. But never did any team sports?
No.
Because tennis, bowling.
Yeah, no. It wasn't until after graduate college when I started doing running with my running team. But
because that's what I wanted to say. Because you're a very
single sports, double sports. I did like either doubles players or singles player. That's really it. The team, of course, like you still have your tennis team you're working with, but it's not a big team you have to play with like in football, right? It's just still like you're in the match itself. You're either by yourself or one other person. And you're cheering on the rest of your team to win, but not as a big team to communicate. Having to communicate more than like 2 people at a time.
Talking about team sports, do you see yourself as a leader?
Interesting. Do I see myself as a leader? I think nowadays, because of my background, my professionalism, and my able to communicate, I will step into the leadership role if no one else is doing anything. Because I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to follow along and make sure there's someone that has more knowledge than me to help me grow. But if we're doing something as a team and no one is stepping up and like holding down the fort, then I'll naturally step into the role.
Once you enter the room, you had this, how to say this, like a kind of an aura. In team sports, the captain will have this kind of feel, or the coach. Once you step foot into the classroom, everybody's like, okay, Johnny is there, now it's about to start. I have done other training sessions, also Hyrox sessions with different coaches, but the feel is just different. So also this was for me really inspiring, the leadership, the aura you have stepping foot somewhere. Is this something you always had?
I would say definitely. I was a bit of a shy kid growing up. I wasn't the one that's always out early, but I was like, make sure I tend to observe a lot, see what things are going on, and before I step foot and say anything. But in classes, I think it comes down to the experience I have, the knowledge I have, and the confidence. And the confidence comes with me understanding, knowing that look, we all can learn more. We all can be better. But at this given point that with the information I have, I'm happy to share it. And if someone has some more information willing to teach me, let's take it on. So I guess when I step into a room, I'm here to share and here to offer my knowledges, and the things that I'm sharing is things that I've done personally. So all the training I have to my classes we've all done, right? I either train with you, or they're actually training that I'm currently still doing or have done in the past. So I'm never gonna give anything to anybody I've never done before. So I think through that experience, when I know I'm giving that training, there's a purpose, because I'm still actively competing. I'm still doing all these things to make myself feel better. So by using my knowledge of that to help my day-to-day classes, they know that I'm not here just writing workouts to make you sweat and just make it hard for you. No, these are purposes. Like some days we're gonna breathe through our nose, some days we're gonna go running, some days we're gonna take it easier, some days we're gonna make it harder. And I think that's where my confidence comes from, to walk in to know like, look, there's a purpose to this. I have achieved these things because by doing this, I want you guys to see how it goes. And if something doesn't work, let's work together and work on the journey.
Yeah, it's funny. It's actually funny to hear, because a lot of people say like, no, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a shy guy. But it's good to finally hear that it is not only that. It's not just your character.
Yeah.
You can get that leadership by of course knowledge and knowing what you're doing. So I think that's something very nice for me to know as well, because also especially I have 4 kids. And sometimes I'm a bit with my son like, you have to step up more. And I don't know, why should I? I'm good like this. And of course I accept, but then I'm like, you can be. He said, no, I'm not like this, but I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be the captain of the team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that's why it's for me, it's nice to hear that you can change. Because I also always thought like, oh, if you're not that kind of guy, maybe you cannot become it. So it's
well, I was going to ask you, like, you know, with your professional career and how successful it's been even for yourself, like, were you always the athlete that you were before? It's like to be stepping in the field confident doing what you're doing, or like taking on the
yeah, especially in my sport, I was always confident with what I'm doing because I knew I was good at it. I'm much different compared to my son. I'm someone who speaks up and like to protect people, and if I see someone is doing bad, I would step up and I would not be afraid. Whereas he's like, he will back down and just let it go, and I'm like, no, I would step up. That's why I really thought it's a character thing. Like I was more of a leader and confidence by myself. Okay, my son doesn't really have it right now, or now with his knowledge and experience in the world, maybe it could come. But when I was his age, if somebody was bullying a kid, then I would bully the bully. So that was how much confidence I had in myself. I was maybe this short, but I felt much bigger than I actually was. And that's a big difference with my son. So I was like, oh, maybe he's maybe not that guy, but maybe,
I think,
like you said, he could become, with confidence, he would grow into maybe a leader or whatsoever.
And I think with time and like them feeling their strength and just awareness, right? As like, especially, I mean, even when I was younger as a kid, I don't think there's a lot of things I wasn't aware of. Either it wasn't taught to me, or like just socially, or we were exposed to different things, or just awareness. I think as I got, like people say, like as you get older, we're definitely older athletes per se, right?
Yeah.
And people say, oh yeah, you're out of we're all aged out. Like I feel stronger, faster, more confident than I have in my 20s when people said I was my prime at my age, and that's the funny part. So I think with that time, confidence, knowledge, like you will step into the shoes that you end up wanting to fill.
A lot of people, because when I played professional football, I wasn't never feeling this fit like I am right now. And even though I was an athlete and now I'm retired, I would still call myself an athlete because I'm working out. Yeah. But I feel much more fit, and also the guys are saying like, hey Irfan, you're too old to play football. And I'm like, no, I decided to stop. And I'm actually, if you ask me now, if I would step back in the game, I think I would be even more fit than when I stopped. So it's funny that there's always all that age put on something, but yeah, I feel, like you said, I feel stronger and fitter than ever before. Maybe also because I have more time to invest in myself, and normally with a team sport I had more rest and put a lot of time on the field, also of course off the field, but not that intense like I'm doing right now. Yeah. What again inspires me is that it comes so natural for you to bring people together to do what they love, try to improve, and like you're doing now with your run club. Where did this came from? Like, how did you put these people all together? Or was this maybe a business plan to set up a community?
That I had to think about a lot when I left the US, because I was never the person that's considered like the popular kid to be around all the time. I always enjoyed just doing my own thing. I've learned in the pandemic, I'm really happy being by myself. And I'm really happy to have friends around me, but at the same time, I could be at home all day doing my work and not be bothered at all. It was never a business decision. It was never anything more than just friends getting together in the community. So I've learned, and now realizing how this is happening, I have to, like, growing up from moving from one school to the next, I always had to move to a different school just based on like location, family moving to different places. So I never had my friends moving from one place to the next. I always had to bring friends together or make new friends all the time. Yeah. Same with when I moved from US to Hong Kong, no one else I really knew. So I had to like not reinvent myself, but also just bring people that I wanted to be in my community. That moving to Jakarta, same thing. I had new community of people that I had to work with, and then Bali also. And I realized like the commonality is that I tend to bring people together, not on purpose, but it just all happened naturally because I'm gonna go work out anyway. It's just like this, I'm gonna work out, and guys really easy. If I go work out, another guy seems like, hey, you just wanna work out together? Let's work out together. It ends up being 3 guys working out together, or 4 guys, and then they happen to bring one of their girlfriends, or one of their someone else comes over, and next thing you know, naturally, it just starts creating itself. And for me, day to day, whether there's a group or no group, I'm still going to train, I'm still going to work every single session. And everybody, wants to be challenged, and I think naturally I can describe the workout to someone, share the workout to someone that they want to be part of it, and explain the movement patterns, breaking it down that's easily digestible. And so from there out, I think that's how the community ended up growing. And no, it's still today, it's not for a business decision. It's mainly still for the community. Everything we do is free for the run clubs or the things we share with different gyms, restaurants, or venues. Because whenever a gym or anyone messages like, hey, can you come join us? Like, yeah, because we're here to just share the value we have as a community to help your business grow, and for us to even utilize different resources. And the main thing I have to give props to is the community themselves. They're the one that makes the community grow. I'm just the one person. If I'm not there in the beginning, sometimes I'm not there, other people stop showing up. But now we got into a way where like, look, I'm not there, but everybody else is inspiring each other. So we have like, even you, when you're there, when Jen's there, everybody, right? People of different backgrounds, different fitness levels, but we're all challenging each other.
That's really the beautiful thing. Like, also the different levels. That's what I really like to see. Because in the beginning I was like, should I do this? And especially also for Jen, as a non-runner yet, she was like, no, they will run too fast. And I was like, no, just get there, get to know the people. And then she was like, there are different kind of levels. And how long does Continuum?
Continuum's been around for, I want to say 3.5 years. So when I first came to Bali, I was running around by myself and my friends that were joining us. Besides us, there was 2 other main running communities in Bali. It was Island Wolfpack, they're in Sanur, they're original guys and they're amazing. And you have the Indo runners. And then of course, me living this side of the island, there wasn't many run groups. So it wasn't even a run group, it was just a workout, bunch of people working out together. And then now we're just like Tuesday when Jen joined us, we had like 60 people running with us. I was like, wow. But also at the same time, we gotta make sure safety, everybody's taken care of, control. So there's a lot of logistics to happen behind the scenes, but it definitely has been an interesting growth path for
that's very nice for me to see how you can bring at the end the people all together and striving for something they want to improve. And I think that's something very nice to see for me. Where did the love for fitness come from?
Where I love fitness, I think I was always into sport, like just like you, right? Active, growing really young, and I was always into moving around. Sport has just been revolving around my world as a whole. I think the biggest thing I've learned is it's never the workout. It's always the things you do before and after the workout that are more important than the workout itself.
For example, before?
So before the workout, like what's your warm-up like? Do you do mobility? Do you do small tissue movements to make sure, you prehab essentially, to make sure you don't have any injury? After your workout, how are you feeling yourself? What's your sleep like? What's your recovery protocols? All these different things. Because the workout's fun, is what people see, it's all fancy and stuff like that. But you have all these other 23 hours a day, because recovery can be, what are you doing? Are you walking around to recover? Are you sitting all day? Is that recovery, right? So all these small things adds into like what your day-to-day can be.
Yeah, good one. Especially the recovery, I think, is something people really overlook and don't really understand how important. Especially for me, I feel a really big difference in my sleep. If I sleep good, I feel much better especially for the whole day, but also if I have a sleep not that great, I feel also way more sore and whatsoever. And I never really realized until getting older. So also I hope with this I have a lot of young crowd following me who wants to become pro athletes or pro football players. The sleep, oh man, if I could do one thing over, is sleep. Sleep longer.
Every younger athlete you talk to, or anybody that's younger in school and kids, I'm sure like even with your daughter, like for now, sleep, they can get away with like less sleep. We got away with a lot less sleep, but it's always the free things that get you the most amount of benefits, right? Within health and wellness, whether it's sleep, stress, and food. Right? It's not the fancy gym or the shoes or the money you have to spend at different facilities. Those things are like the percentage gains. The major thing is sleep. Sleep is such a major thing. And how do you eat before you sleep, your sugar levels, all those things. It's a lot of fun information, but that's a different rabbit hole.
That's true. So also health, how did it become so important to you? Because for me, Indonesian roots, even though I grew up in Holland, but Indonesian, we love to eat. We love to eat good. So health for me when I was growing up was never really that important. When I grew up, we had this funny story. On Fridays, it was French fry Friday. But on Saturdays, I had always a game. And my parents knew I could play the game, but they never really bothered. So for me to realize food and all the healthy things came for me very late. When did you start to realize that health and eating good was
definitely
important?
Later also. I think it was eating understanding what healthy eating was definitely came later in life. Same way Asian families, right? We love food, we love things, but I think also with an Asian family, they do love a lot of fruits and vegetables. So I think I already had that was different from my Western friends. So there was already health-based food items that now already flash, like bone broth or all the fun mushroom soups and stuff like that are really like good with performance. I didn't know that. My mom just made the food. So I think the food that I grew up with already quite healthy, but also I still love my burgers, my pizza, my fries, my soda, all that stuff I grew up with. I think health became a big thing when I started competing, when I cared more and more about like, okay, how can I get faster? What do I have to carb load on? What do I need to fuel to make my run faster? How do I not cramp? What hydration am I taking? I think it was when I first started doing my first big race. I think that's when I started to hone in on, let's find out what percentage of gains I can get out of this. And it's a never-ending cycle of understanding what's good for you. But the things I hate within health in the world of social media, we're in diets, aesthetics, all these things. They're great visually, but longevity-wise, those things it doesn't work, because I don't believe in a diet, right? Like when you say eating healthy is a lifestyle. Eating healthy is like your family will start enjoying it, you start enjoying it, things that you can see yourself doing every single day, and I think that's where the healthy lifestyle starts coming in. So I think for me, started when I started competing more seriously, but now it's my day to day. I don't even think about it.
How would you explain the best how to maintain a healthy lifestyle? So in
my class, I say let's get rid of the word diet. Let's get rid of anything that you think that you cannot sustain, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to live with this the rest of your life, essentially, right? Add small things and change small things. Make small changes first. If you think you're eating too much fatty food, let's slow down certain things, start removing it, and start understanding why it's bad for you, why it's good for you. And then after that, have a healthy relationship with those food, because food is not a bad thing. Food is an amazing thing. If you start thinking, oh, today's a cheat day, that's already a negative connotation, because then you're
because that's one also. I have to be honest, I did also, I would say like 2-3 years ago, like, okay, I'm gonna live super healthy, and then I do one cheat day. And I lived very healthy that whole week, and then cheat day came, and I was just, wow. And Jen was always the one telling me like, what are you doing? But if you had that one piece of candy somewhere during the week and just enjoy that one, instead of eating now a whole bag of candy.
Exactly, so I think that's where human mindset changes. I would say eat the things you want, but understand why you're doing it, and do everything with moderation. Like I love my sweets, I love my cake, cookies, donuts, ice cream, I love them. And if I can have a little bit here and there every day. I'm not craving for a whole cake. I'm not craving for like a box of cookies. Like if I have 1 or 2 cookies, that's all right, because I'm utilizing that fuel. But people also think like food is fuel also. Even though what generally people say is unhealthy, it's unhealthy to eat a lot of it. But if I'm saying I'm eating like any sort of carbs, that's fuel. I'm going to use that up for working out. So having the understanding and relationship of what food is with moderation, and you're right, like in society, like people think it's a negative connotation of cheat day or hard, then that's when people start diving in. Because in the day, what makes you happy is important. If you're unhappy doing what you're doing and eating what you're eating, you're more stressed and you're holding on more weight, and it ends up being unhealthy for you. If you want that wine, blah, 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 enjoy it, because we're still living as humans. We're not a supermodel. We're not like, we can't be a top tier athlete every day. There's off seasons for us too when we compete. Like you have to go through those cycles. But if you're trying to hold yourself at that top percent every single day, you're gonna get hurt. Either physically or mentally somewhere down the line, and it's gonna affect you a lot. So I think having that relationship with food, of moderation, removing small things first. Don't dive straight into the waterfall and then remove everything, because that's the worst thing you can do.
My mistake. My beginner's mistake.
It's a lot. I mean, I've fallen that trap too. But now it's like introduce a lot of, like what we say, rainbows of on your plate, right? So many different vegetables of different colors. Add that to your plate, whether it's cooked or not, or raw. Find ways that you enjoy that food, and then find foods you really, really like, and start with just enjoy and seeing what things you need to remove.
Do you have any habits, routine, which you do every day, and which ones are they?
Routines I do every day. My morning wake up before I get out of bed is I massage my legs and feet and everything, because we sleep, we lie down, our muscles tighten up, and before you even step out of bed, because if you step out of bed, a lot of times you just like smash your feet. Especially a lot of runners, when they have plantar fasciitis or any injuries, they have such tight feet and tight legs. You want to make sure you massage them before you get out of bed. So that's a routine for me.
A massage how?
Just shake it around.
By yourself?
Like lift and twist and manipulate with your hands. You don't do anything crazy. It's like literally 1 or 2 minutes. And then I get out of bed and I'll just do some hip activations. I'll do some mobility, and then actually some of the warm-ups we do at the classes, not at that high intensity because I don't need to sweat, but just get the body going. And then I'll walk into the bathroom. That's one major routine I have in the morning. Water. I drink a lot of water. Water, greens, lemon, whatever I have in the morning. The hydration is the first thing I go for. I don't drink coffee or anything like that, so I think that's normally naturally already an energy boost for me, just having some sort of hydration in.
Yeah.
But I'm always get my heart rate spiked one way or another during the day. So when I say this, I don't mean like, you don't just throw yourself in the deep end, just go sprinting. You gotta warm up for it. But I think one of the routines I have is every day at least get my heart rate going once.
Every day?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't even on an easy day, it could just be like, doing a couple of jump squats just to get my body going a little bit. I think that's one of the things
You always have the motivation to do that, or are there days that you're like, nah?
There are some days I'm sure I was like a little bit more lethargic or a little bit more tired, and that's okay. You gotta be honest with yourself, and those days happen. That's okay. Nothing wrong with it. And I have that self-conversation with like, I'm not being lazy, I'm just need a rest day. And because you know the difference between a rest day and when you're being lazy.
Yeah.
In those days, you can tell the difference between a part. And it's okay to give yourself a break, because breaks are important for your body too. So I think I have that. And the nighttime routine for me would be a couple of things I really enjoy, like magnesium. That definitely helps the body a lot. Certain supplements. I would say I would stick a lot to the natural supplements. So ashwagandha, all the mushrooms, turmeric, moringa, all those stuff. Like those are things I add to my day to day. But besides that, there's nothing too crazy. If I have time for it, I'd definitely love to go more into the recovery with sauna, ice bath, and those stuff towards later in the evening, because they could downturn my body to really get myself reset and ready for the night.
What I love to see is also our friend Nadine.
Yes.
How she stretches,
she
every
a lot,
morning and motivates me, but I'm not there yet to do it every day. But just to hear you now say, just give your body a little shake before getting out of bed. Move a bit around your hips, because there are some mornings I go down the stairs and then it's stacked like step for step and I'm super stiff. So I really have to work on that part. So that's very nice for me to hear. Just before we end, curious, is there any big competition coming up for you, or is there any goal you want to set for this year?
Yeah, the goal this year would be focusing a little bit more on myself. I mean, I'm sure same with you previously, where we competed a lot and there was a lot of things we focus on. And within this more past couple of years, I kind of pushed my athletic life over because I want to focus more on my career. But this year, I think I want to just push myself back into the mix and put myself a little bit more priority. The races I have coming up would be Hyrox in Shanghai, in Taipei, in Bangkok, just to start off the year. And I'm sure I'll still have a couple of races of half marathons or whatever fun events that come along, as long as it fits my schedule. But of course, work still comes first, and then I will focus on allowing myself to build up to the better version of me than I was before with these races. And of course, with the community we have with you, you're inspiring me just as much as we're working together on all these different workouts and classes.
Yeah, nice. And for the Hyrox competitions or the competitions that are coming, is your goal to win it, or is your goal to beat yourself? What are your goals in these races?
I would love to win, always, right? That fire is always behind me, but the thing that drives me isn't the win. It's the process. It's the process of training. I enjoy the day-to-day, because competition is just one day. And that one day that you work so hard for cannot be the make or break, because if you do say you didn't win, does that make you unhappy about all the strength that you build, all the endurance you build, all the hard work you put in? No. So for me, it's like I enjoy the process. I enjoy the hardships and challenges that come along with it. And when I step on the floor that day, I can't control anybody else. I can't control how fit my competitors are. I can't control who shows up, who doesn't show up. Because some days, hey, look, if someone that's number one in the world doesn't show up to my race and I end up winning, is it really a win? It's a win of that day, but it doesn't really mean you're the best of anything, right? So I think for me is I can't control other, but I can control myself during that race day. And my goal for that race day is, of course, push myself to be challenged and to a point to learn something during that race. When I'm on the race day, it's about I will try to go for the win. I will try to be the best version of me and everybody around me. But at the end of the day is that I walk away being happy with my own performance.
Okay, that's actually very nice to hear, because people can get so upset not to get the win, but especially to appreciate the process, even though, and it's exactly what you said, the circumstances you're in, that is so important to feel also good about what you've done all this time.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. Also the lights somehow turned off, so I think they said it's enough. Thank you for being here. thank you for making me stronger, fitter, and also my wife, but not only us. I think everyone who is around you. So thank you for that. Thank you for your knowledge, and let's get super fit together.
Yeah, and I think one thing I would leave that off to is like, I think the one thing we stand by is being Asian. It's not something that people see most of the time to be in the world circuit, but now we're here and we're going to be better and we're going to push and we'll help motivate each other, because there's nothing that holds us back more than any other race or ethnicity, because we're just here to push and perform. But thank you for inspiring me, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you.